In this exercise, we're going to listen to two friends speaking about travel. I want you to pay attention to the actions that each of them did. You're going to hear verbs like went and have gone, ate and have eaten. All of these verbs are talking about the past, but they use both past simple and present perfect to speak about them. So first, I want you to listen to their conversation, and second, I'll explain the difference between past simple and present perfect. Have you ever gone to Japan?
Yes, I went to Japan 2 years ago. Have you ever gone there?
No, but I'd like to go. I've heard Japanese food is really delicious.
It's true. I love Japanese food, especially the sushi.
I've never eaten sushi.
You haven't? You should try it. I ate sushi for dinner last Saturday night. It was delicious.
Maybe someday I'll go to Japan. But for my next vacation, I want to go to an English-speaking country.
What about traveling to India? Indian people speak English.
I've already gone to India. It was amazing.
You have? You're such a world traveler. When did you go?
I went when I was in university on a cultural exchange. We flew for 13 hours to get to New Delhi.
Wow, I've never flown that far. What about going to London? It would be nice to speak English with British people.
That's true, but I went to London last year. I saw London Bridge in person. Have you ever seen a photo of it?
Yes, I have. It's spectacular.
Have you ever been to America?
No, I've never traveled west of Spain. Have you?
Yes, I've already gone to New York, but I've always wanted to see the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
I've heard American people are really friendly.
I've heard that too.
What about joining me for dinner tonight? I'd love to hear about your time in India.
Dinner sounds great. What about finding a sushi restaurant?
I know a good one. I'll call and make a reservation. I prefer not to wait in line.
Katka and Honza talked about many events that happened in the past. They talked about her trip to India and his trip to Japan. They talked about food they'd eaten and sights they'd seen. And all of these events were completed. They were finished. They were in the past. But they used both past simple, I ate sushi, and present perfect, I have never eaten sushi. In this lesson, we'll learn why both tenses can be used when speaking about completed events in the past and which one you should choose when you're speaking. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to talk about past events. That is, events that happened in the past and they are finished. Every verb in the English language has a present, or the first form of the verb, a past, or the second form of the verb, and a past participle, or the third form of the verb. Some verbs are irregular, like go, went, gone, and those have to be memorized. But regular verbs, like open, are very easy. You simply add ed to the second form and ed to the third form. When you speak about the past, you can use the second form or the third form. Let's look at a timeline to explain. Imagine there was a hockey game in the past. You could say, I went to a hockey game last week, using the second form of the verb. You could also say, I have recently gone to a hockey game, using have and the third form of the verb. It's the same hockey game, but you use two different tenses to speak about it. Let's look at those two sentences again. I went to a hockey game last week. Here, there is a signal phrase, last week, and last week is a finished time, so we use the second form of the verb. I have recently gone to a hockey game. Recently is a signal word, and it means we use have plus the third form of the verb. This second sentence is present perfect. First, let's look at past simple. These are events that happened in a finished time period. And there are many signal words that mean finished time. For example, last week. Last week is finished. November. November is finished. This morning is finished. Even though it happened today, it's evening now. So this morning is a finished time period, and we use past simple. We use present perfect for events that happened in an unfinished time period. Unfinished time periods have certain signal words also. For example, today. Today is unfinished. This week is unfinished. And this evening is unfinished. When we see these signal words, we use present perfect. Let me show you an example. She ran 5 kilometers this morning. That run is finished, and the time period, this morning, is finished. So we use past simple, the second form of the verb. Or I could say, she has run 5 kilometers today. Today is unfinished, and so we use present perfect. Here's another example. I flew to Spain last month. Last month is finished. So we use past simple, the second form of the verb. But we can also say, I've flown to Spain this year. Even though it's the same trip, this year is unfinished, so we use the third form of the verb. Another reason we use present perfect is for events that happened in a recent but unclear time period. It means we don't know exactly when they happened. And they have signal words as well. Recently and just. Recently means a time close to now, but we don't know exactly. I've recently seen that movie. It means sometime close to now. Or I could say, I saw that movie last weekend. Last weekend is a finished time period, and so we use past simple. Just is like recently, but it means even closer to now. For example, I've just eaten a snack. I'm not hungry now because I've just eaten a snack. Present perfect. Or I can say, I ate a snack at 11:45. Same snack, but this time period, 11:45, is finished. So I use past simple. Another reason to use present perfect is when we talk about events that happened in an unstated time period. Unstated means we didn't state or we didn't say. And there are no signal words because we don't say when it happened. But it usually means in my life. Let's look at an example. I've been to Paris. I've been. Present perfect. It means I've been to Paris sometime in my life. My life is unfinished, and so I use present perfect. But if I say, I went to Paris in 2014, 2014 is a finished time period, so we use past simple. It's the same trip to Paris, But in the first example, we don't have any signal words. We don't say when. In the second example, we say 2014, a finished time period. Another example. I've seen Romeo and Juliet. This is an experience in my life. I've seen this play. I don't say when. It's unstated, so I use present perfect. Or I could say, I saw Romeo and Juliet in July. I tell you when, and July is finished, so I use past simple. Subscribe to this channel so you get the next episode in our Travel English course. See you next week.